completing this challenge in order to fundraise for the Canadian Cancer Society. Please see the link in the description if you would like to donate. We're over halfway towards my goal of raising $500 for the Canadian Cancer Society. Thank you to everyone who's donated so far. Today's practice, we will be opening up the hips. So let's get started. Finding your easy seat, tucking the glutes out of the way, shoulders shrug down the back body, crown of the head reaching, chin slightly tucked, jaw relaxed. Soften your gaze or close your eyes. Start to focus in on your breath. Gently bat the eyes open, bringing your hands beside you to the mat. Inhale, let your hands lift up towards each other. Exhale, gently and slowly float them down. Moving with your nice, slow, gentle breath. Inhale up, exhale down. Last one here. Leaving the right hand on the mat, bringing the left hand towards the right side of the head. Inhale to center. Exhale, tilt the left ear towards the left shoulder. One breath here. Exhale to release and reach that left hand overhead, crescent over to the right. One breath here. Inhale to center, and then bring your right hand to the left side of the head. Exhale, drop that ear towards the shoulder. Release the head and exhale as you reach over to the left. Let's do two more like that. Inhale back to center. Exhale, left ear to left shoulder. Crescent to the right. Right ear to right shoulder. Exhale to the left. Left ear to left shoulder, last time each side. Inhale to center. And now placing your hands on your knees, begin to rotate through your rib cage. So inhale to rotate your rib cage forward. Exhale, bring it back, keeping your sit bones firmly planted on the mat. Now inhale the opposite direction. Come back to center. Crawl over your knees. Come into tabletop. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Inhale, lift the gaze, lift the tailbone, drop the belly. Exhale, round the back, drop the pelvis and head. 2 more like this. Inhale, come to center, pulling your navel in towards your spine. Tuck your toes. Exhale here. And then inhale, hover the knees. And then 2 breaths here. Inhale here. Exhale, drop the knees. Untuck the toes. Walk the right foot out to the side. Slight bend in the right knee, leaving the left hand planted. Inhale, rotate, bringing your right hand up towards the ceiling. Exhale, thread it under the left elbow. Inhale to come back up. Exhale, thread it through. And stay. Inhale, unthread. Replace the right hand beside the left, keeping the legs as they are. Slide the hips back into child's pose. If that right leg out is too much, just bring it back in underneath you in a wide-legged child's pose. Inhale, pull back up and bring that knee underneath the hip. And let's bring the left leg out this time. Inhale, left hand comes up. Exhale, thread it under. Inhale up. Exhale through. 1 more like this. And then we pause. Planting the shoulder in the side of the head, pressing into the right hand to activate the shoulder and the side body. Coming into this twist, wide-legged, thread the needle. Inhale to unwind, placing that hand back down on the mat. Exhale, slide back into child's pose. Inhale, pull back up, coming back to tabletop, tucking the toes, pressing into the hands. Inhale, lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Shoulders are stretched back up the body, hips raising up towards the sky. Heels do not have to touch, and there can be a slight bend in the knees here. Inhale, bend the right knee, lift it up. Exhale, step it through, dropping the back knee down. Inhale, come on up with the hands, tucking the pelvis in as you press that left hip forward, feeling a stretch in the front of the left hip. Anjaneyasana. Exhale, bringing the hands down inside that front foot. Heel toe that front foot out slightly, turning the toes out at a 45-degree angle, opening out onto the outer edge of the right foot. Pressing the hips down as much as is comfortable to you in lizard pose. Tucking the back toes, coming up on that back knee, and then sliding the right knee back, coming back up into your three-legged dog. Replace that foot down, and let's repeat that sequence on the other side. Inhale, bend the left knee, step it up. Exhale, come forward. Dropping the right knee, untucking the back toes, finding your stable base here before you inhale, rise up, tucking the pelvis, pushing the right hip forward, feeling that stretch in the front of the right hip this time. Exhale, hands come down to the inside, heel toe the left foot out, turning it at a 45 and coming out onto the edge of that left foot. Press the hips down. You should feel a stretch on the outside of your left hip. Now pivot, bringing the sole of the foot to the floor, tucking the back toes, lifting the back knee, and then rocking back into three-legged dog. And then down to downward facing dog. One breath here. Then walk your feet up to your hands, finding yourself in a forward fold. Inhale, roll slowly up, tucking the tailbone under, shrugging the hips down the back body into Tadasana. Take a big step back with your left foot and then turn both sets of toes to the long edge of your mat. Inhale, arms come out straight out from the shoulders in 5-pointed star. Turning the toes of the right foot, bending into the right knee, keeping the arms as they are, making sure your pelvis is tucked and that front knee is opening out, coming into warrior two. Flipping the front hand, reaching that front hand up and back, back hand drags down the back leg, gaze comes up. Exalted warrior or reverse warrior. Windmill the hands, bringing right elbow to right knee. Left hand arm comes straight out from the shoulder. Gaze comes up. Side angle. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Opening out to the side. You can bring a block here to your elbow, or just place your hand on your ankle, coming into triangle pose. Inhale, come back up, turn the toes to the long edge of the mat, back into 5-pointed star. Turning the left toes this time, bend into the left knee, top of the body stays as it was, pelvis tucks under, left knee turns out as much as possible. The heel of the left foot should be pointing right to the arch of the right foot. Warrior 2. Flipping the front hand, reaching up and back, gaze comes up, exalted or reverse warrior. Windmilling the hands, bringing the left elbow to left knee, right arm comes straight out from the shoulder, gaze comes up, side angle. Opening through the shoulders to the side. Inhale, straighten the front leg, bringing in the block or bringing your hand to the inside of your ankle. Trikonasana, triangle pose. Inhale and come back up to 5-pointed star. Toes are pointed to the long edge of the mat. Bringing the heels slightly in, arms come to cactus, slide like you're sliding down a wall, pelvis is fully tucked under, goddess pose. Exhale, bringing the hands down to the mat, heel toe your feet a little closer in, and lower your hips down towards the mat, bringing your elbows to the inside of your knees, hands to heart center, shoulders spread open, malasana. You can bring your block in here underneath the sacrum for some support if you're having trouble opening up here. And exhale, bring your hands back down to the mat, coming up on the toes of your right foot. Slide your left foot out long beside you. Coming up with hands at heart center, find your balance, and then bring your toes up towards the ceiling. If that is too hard to balance, then leave them down. Exhale, bringing the hands down to the mat and walking those hands over to the left side, coming up on the toes of the left foot. Sliding that right leg out long beside you. Pulling up, straight back. Find your balance before bringing your toes up. bringing your hands down to the mat, straightening through the left leg down to the mat, and behind you, lower your hips down to the mat, and then bring your legs out wide. Inhale here to center, exhale, forward fold. Keeping a slight bend in your knees. Inhale to lift your head, walking your hands over to your right knee, squaring your shoulders with that knee, round over towards that knee. And then walking your hands over to the left knee, inhale to roll up to seated, and then bring your hands behind you again. Now, inhale to roll up to seated, and then turn over on your mat so that you're facing the short edge of your mat, bending into your right leg, walking your left leg back. Bring a block underneath the right hip, coming into pigeon. Sliding that knee back and tucking that block out of the way. Slide the hips all the way back into child's pose. Inhale, come forward again through tabletop, bringing that left shin up and across to the short edge of the mat, tucking the block under the left hip. Walk the right knee back until you feel a stretch in the front of the right hip and the outside of the left hip. Pigeon pose. Walking that back knee up so that you can release the block if you had it. Come down to the side on your hips and swing your legs around, down onto your back. Feet come out to the edges of the mat, dropping the knees towards each other. Inhaling to roll your knees in towards yourself, hugging them into your chest, keeping the tailbone connected to the ground for wind release. Inhale, release the knees, bringing the arms out to the side. Exhale, Rotate from the hips, dropping the knees over to the right. Gaze comes to the left, keeping the left shoulder connected to the mat. Inhale to center. Exhale, twist to the left. Gaze comes to the right. Right shoulder stays connected here. Inhale, roll back to center. Making sure your hips are tucked, shoulders are shrugged down your back body. Slide your feet out to the outer edges of your mat. Really exaggerate. Take up lots of space here. Letting your feet flop open to the side. Arms open out beside you. Gently close your eyes. Take a moment here to focus in on yourself. Feeling your breath. Taking a scan through your body. Find any tight points, especially in those hips, and really let them melt into the mat. You can remain here in Shavasana, or if you're ready to come out, gently wiggle your fingers and your toes. Rotate hands around wrists and feet around ankles in both directions. Bring your arms overhead and give yourself a good morning stretch. Bend through your knees, rolling over onto your side, cradling your head and your bottom arm, pressing your top arm down into the floor. Using that top arm to press yourself back up to seated. Bringing your hands to heart center. The light in me recognizes, acknowledges, and appreciates the light in each of you. Thank you for supporting me in this 30 minutes a day yoga challenge. And thank you for your support for the Canadian Cancer Society. Namaste.